Yeah. Never dispose of the pen, I'm at it again, we close to the end. The older I get, emphatic I am. They try to pretend, they try to be friend, wreak havoc instead. Look at the trends, can't comprehend my dramatic ascent. I'm heavenly sent, they try to condemn. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the man. Yeah, different vision but the same goes. Big collision off the main road, that's the beaten path where my brain goes. Fuck the devil's wrath off my halo. Hella stones, no Thanos. Hella gold, no rainbow. This is hella genius in my brain lobes. Hella gross as far as revenue goes. Bought me a net for these Benjamins though. You not a threat, you an enemy though. Broke me a sweat, killing enemies slow. Body offset, all these feminine flows. Hardly upset, but you testing me though. All of these stats are depressingly low. Why your girl think I'm a specimen though? Drones and them perks is my medicine though. There's no comparison, black in America, little too arrogant. I just embarrass y'all niggas irrelevant. I shouldn't mention it, that's royal etiquette. Out of my element, way too intelligent. Grab you a therapist, send in my sentiments. Neck full of sediments, cop me a Tesla and skirt through the valley. Drop the investment in Silicon Valley. All this cake, but I'm missing the patty. Might mess around and just move to Miami. Drums are so loud that they breaking the chassis. King of the grass like I'm Lionel Messi. I am not crass, but my mental is messy. Mud in my glass while my pencil is sketching. All these rappers, but no one impressed me. Most of them actors at labels is testing.
The following program is rated TV MANOC. It contains a big pair of nuts directly on your chin. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Transitioning young people. Come on. Want to become a woman? Daddy.
Let's go.
Cut everything off immediately.
Common sense and logic.
She was 12, I was 30.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Buttery man vocals.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testing. Testicles. Ooh, welcome everyone to episode 25 Hundo and 24 of the Daily Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gangcast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleevescast, and Slaycast in the realm, because when I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busters, hustlers, and your hoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. And today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everson K2 flexing on all you beach.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
All right, fam, welcome to the show 2524. It is Tuesday, April the Quattro. Welcome, come one, come all. We have a great show for you today. We got some awesome Swole fam posts. We got a couple announcements first, and we have an awesome Swole card to give away. So welcome everyone coming on in. Hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, and of course, drop in the comments down below. What are you smashing today? We have a couple things that we went over yesterday. It was our weekly accountability meeting every single Monday, the world famous Swole Fam accountability meeting. Awesome new releases, and it was a great time. So those of you that missed it, how dare you? How dare you? And
how dare you?
You're the one that missed out. It was fucking fire, but it's available in Swole TV. If you missed the live call, it's available now. We had a couple things that stood out yesterday. We have a brand new Express Flow for Balance yoga class with Alex. That's available for members only in the yoga studio. So that's available now. We also announced that we have a brand new calendar feature that we're going to be implementing this week, and that you'll be able to sync it to your iCalendar, Google Calendar, so you have all the links and all the details that you need to know what's going on with the Swole Fam, because we have a lot of events every single month, so you will know exactly what's going down for a given week, and you can schedule, and it'll sync right away with your calendar. Also, we got a brand new shirt, Swolvada Cadavra. This is one of my favorite designs ever. Available now over at papasolio.com. Use code DailySwole for 10% off. Look at that. Lord Swoldemort hath returned. So if you enjoyed the original Lord Swoldemort, we now have the Swolvada Cadavra. And if you enjoy some Harry Squatter, you'll enjoy this one. So check it all out now over there at papasolio.com. Love that new drop. Love that shit. Love that shit. We've been tweaking and trying to get it just right for a while, and very excited to finally release it over there at the greatest merch store. Cover your nips with the best merch in the game. Am I right or am I right, fam? I think we're all right. Let's get some fucking biceps and flex on them. All right. Are you ready for an amazing sleaze cast? Let's get today's nut busted wide open. You're going to love this card. This is a Swole Fam favorite. And we'll get into some Swole Fam posts. So drop in the comments, what are you smashing today? And let's summon the Falcon and get this show on the road. Only summoned with the voice of an angel. Put some respect on it. Yes, bitches. All right, hashtag most people don't. Thank you, Leo. Yes, I see you. Cheers, you alcoholic. Most people don't. Hashtag most. There you go. Most people don't. This card is one of the fam's favorites. I have this over here on my left monitor. Most people don't, no matter what it is, whether it's fat loss, whether it's having a better morning routine, whether it's opting to cook and eat real food at home, whether it's going to the gym versus going to the bar, or making better food choices, going to sleep at a proper hour so you can get up the next morning and crush it. Most people don't do anything that is going to take them out of their comfort zone. Most people don't. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, there's a reason why people push back. There's a reason why there's resistance. There's a reason why it's going against the grain. Most people don't. So we always say this term. We always talk about how the extra mile, there's no traffic on the extra mile. Once you start going above the clouds, the sun is shining. So you might be below the clouds. There might be storm. There might be lightning and thunder, and it'll be all crazy, just like everyone else. Everything around you, everyone's negative. Everyone's just poisoning you. There's so much marketing and just, dragging you down, and don't go, eat this, eat that. It's this celebration. It's this. Everyone's stuffing their face with garbage. Everyone's watching the news, and everyone's, but then you go up above the clouds, and what do you see? Bright sun. It's beautiful. It's calm. And that's where most people don't go. So if you actually step up to the plate, if you actually put in more effort, you go even slightly beyond what the average person does, you're going to be immensely successful. It doesn't take as much as people make it out to be. You just have to make unpopular choices. When I say unpopular, that's what being average is. You're just doing what everyone else does. That's why it's average. You're making the same decisions. You're spending time with the same people. You're just doing the same thing that everyone else is doing. So you're going to be just like everyone else. Input and output. You change the input, you change what you do, you change the decisions that you make and the choices that you make, and it will result in a different outcome. And people just don't see it. It's hard to see things from inside the system. It's hard to see some of these things from inside where everyone else is. But once you start making better choices for yourself, once you start actually stepping outside of that kind of, you get out of the torrential river, the flooding that's wiping out an entire town, that's careening down a mountainside, you can actually see it for what it is, and you can make better choices. All right. All right, fam. So hashtag most people don't. We'll give that Swole card away at the end of today's episode. Now, let's get into that tip, everyone. It's time to moisturize. Babe, just an inch. It's cold outside. All right, let's take a look at the Tainty Man. We got a little Tainty Man. He's sleeping. And of course, we have the church. And she's doing okay. She's doing okay. You're a little naughty this morning. You were naughty. You pooped. You pooped. Yeah. We're not going to tell anyone where you pooped. We're not going to tell anyone where you pooped. I'm not going to embarrass you like that, but you pooped. And it wasn't good. You're naughty. You're being punished. Punished with pets. Punished with love. Church. That little beach. All right, let's get into a Swole fam post. Are you ready, fam?
What's in the box?
She's a pooper. The small ones always make the most poops. Let's see. Why does that... I want to get rid of that sidebar. No thumbnails. All right, 1 second. There we go. Okay. Let's get into in Mama Swolio's shoe. No. She pooped the bed. She pooped the bed. Didn't you? Didn't you? Yeah, you did. Are you sorry? Are you sorry? You better be. Reminds me of that Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode. Who pooped the bed? Oh, well, we know. We know who pooped the bed. Oh, we know. We know. It's not a question. All right, we got a post here from Ben, pillar number 2, nutrition. Ben says, "What's up, fam? Just had some personal testimony and encouragement for anybody that hasn't dove headfirst into the nutrition game. 2 months ago, I really put my focus into my diet, and my workouts have been fire. I feel like I am making the newbie gains I made when I was 18 all over again. I'm currently 29 and stronger than I've ever been. Never thought I would eat this much meat." Giggity. I see what you did there. But there's no going back now. Yeah, don't back up on the meat. You can eat the meat, but don't back up on the meat. That's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different thing. There's no going back. There's no going back. All right. So good for you. Good for you. Really put my focus into my diet. Workouts have been fire. Making newbie gains. That's what happens when you actually get the right fuel. Making better choices, making better decisions. Good for you, Ben. All right, we got a introducing. No, I don't post often, so it's not a new member. I don't know who this is. It's Bin Amcn. Bin AMCN. So this is when you don't have your name. Even if it's a Swole fam, I don't know because it's from the Discord. So, hi fam, I don't post often. Since joining, I lost 8 pounds and been away, but I got pregnant. It wasn't planned. Ooh, oh no. I was told many times by doctors it wouldn't happen, but eating better and lifting weights 3 times a week changed my whole body. I've taken a wee step back from the weights because my morning sickness has been rough at times, but I walk every day, try to eat as clean as I can and have my mindfulness meditation. Hope to catch a live stream soon, as I'm always playing catch up, working full time and studying. But I just wanted to share my news with you all. Thanks everyone, and any new moms who want to share tips. I'm open to some advice and guidance. Well, congratulations. 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 You said it wasn't planned, but at the same time, you are, and it sounds like you are looking forward to it. You're just probably nervous or anxious, but congratulations. And anyone else, if you have any, and I would make sure that whomever this is, I don't know what your actual real first name is, but make sure you post up in the Facebook group and the Telegram chat too, because not every member uses the Discord, but most people are in the Telegram and the Facebook group. So definitely share there. And we got a lot of swole mamas in the house. We got a lot of swole mamas in the house that would be more than willing to give you some advice for a first time. All right. We got a post here from the Telegram. We got a food picture from Carson. Killing my new routine today. Legs ignite done. Brain gained up. Did some religious gains. Eating the banana monstrosity. And a little chicken. About to get ready and start my new job today. Well, good for you. Good for you, Carson. I think you read a post about your new job. You're starting a new office job. I think we read this yesterday in the accountability meeting. But good for you, and get after it. Hope you have a great day. Jeff says, I'm looking for some tips from any of you with kids who have them lifting with you. We got a lot of swole parenting going down right now. So you could start dropping your comments down below, those of you that train with your kids. My 13-year-old son is getting into lifting. I've taught him proper technique and now let him do some sessions on his own before I get home. From what he's telling me, his sessions when I'm not around are too much TV and not enough work. Have any of you had good luck putting together a program for kids in a tracking app, because kids love apps? And any tips for a good routine for that age? I have a pretty good home gym set up. Thanks. So you definitely have a nice gym space. So from what he's telling me, his sessions when I'm not around are too much TV and not enough work. Is there a TV in the gym? So for one thing, that's an issue. I know some of you do the yoga or do the yoga classes and you have your TV in the gym. So it depends on how it's used, but is there a TV in the gym and he's sitting around just watching TV rather than training? You could put a camera in there so you see what he's doing. You could put a camera and then do some like Bluetooth where you can call in and just yell it like a walkie-talkie. Have any of you had good luck putting together a program for kids in a tracking app? So some of you can drop your thoughts. I mean, regardless of what you use in terms of an app or things like that, I'm not really sure what you're asking. So you want him to get a better workout in when you're not home, and he's telling you, so at least he's being honest. So he's telling you he's watching TV and he's not really training. I don't know what else to say. Is he following along with anything? That would be my suggestion. Is there something that he's actually following? I know you're asking about a program. I would say for, I guess, the average person or the average child, they need to move more than just doing strict movements. Maybe some more stuff with sandbags or medicine balls and slams, things that are a little bit more, maybe total body, maybe a little bit more power type training and athletic. What you're talking about is discipline and self-starting. So maybe there's something that you can organize where it's like a chore. I'm not a fan of training apps, so I don't really have any suggestions for that. But I'm not sure what you're asking. If you're trying to track, so he puts it in so you know, but then you're not going to know if he really does it because he could just enter something in an app. It really depends on what you're trying to get across. He's saying he's not really trying and he wants to. You want to make sure he's doing it. Does he have to do that before he gets to do other things? As long as he's following, you could also have a security camera or something and you can see what he's doing. And then maybe you have some better idea of what he's actually doing. But also it's the education too. It's the education of why it's important and what he should be doing. So he just needs to have something to follow along. Maybe have a whiteboard. I don't know I didn't see a whiteboard or anything in there. Maybe we could write things down where you can have like a visual representation of what he's doing. But like someone else said, a video, whether he's doing a Swollen 7, whether he's doing a Swolga class, or he's doing an actual follow along workout like the Swollen 7s or something like that. But that way, visually, it's not just in his head. Oh, do this, do this. So kind of vague, but just some ideas. Maybe need a little more detail there. Last Swole fan post of the day for now, Maria or Mariah. Hi all, my name is Mariah. I have been listening to Daily Swole for a few weeks now and really resonate with Papa's disgruntled feelings about the health industry. Ooh, I'm disgruntled. As I am a former, what the hell happened there? As I am a former dietetics major, now cooking for an assisted living home. I've struggled with binge eating since I was roughly 10 years old, but I have already lost the weight that I needed from 200 down to 125. I'm 5'1" tall. However, I've still been struggling with inflammation, bloating, brain fog, and fatigue. I was already experimenting with fasting and a partial elimination diet when the Daily Swole came up in my recommended videos. It's like YouTube just knows. I remembered Papa from watching some Michelle McDaniel videos, and I'm so happy I checked out his videos. After over a decade of struggling with weight and focusing on a certain number, the last few months have been readjusting my relationship with food and exercise to focus more on mobility, flexibility, and mental wellness. I'm still doing kettlebells and calisthenics, but I want to reevaluate what my health goals are now. Because reaching your goal weight isn't the mountain peak, although it is a major overhang to get over. I'm looking forward to talking more with the fam on various health and wellness topics and surrounding myself with the positive environment we all need to thrive. Well, welcome to the fam. Glad that you joined us finally. Super stoked to have you. And I think based on what you're talking about, climbing the mountaintop, when you're doing this life, fitness, health, there is no mountaintop. So this is a game you're not going to win. It's not a game that you win. And that's why I'm not a fan of like the whole goal thing. Goals are fine, or checkpoints, but in the context of there is no endpoint, right? There is no endpoint. There is no, hey, I won fitness. Hey, I won health. This is why people fall back on metrics. This is why people need or usually lock on, hey, I want to get to this weight. I want to be 170 or 150 or 209. They have this one number because you can conceptualize it. It's much harder to conceptualize, the 7 pillars in the sense of there's no winning or losing. There's better, there's more efficient, there's focusing on them, and there's really not focusing on them. You're paying attention to the 7 pillars, you're not paying attention to them. So there is no win or loss. It's a constant learning, it's a constant development, it's a constant refocusing and tweaking and doing better and pursuit. So glad to hear that you lost some weight. You're focusing on the food quality. And I think following the content and focusing on the elimination and focusing on those classically, testing foods one at a time. Remember, if you are consuming a bunch of foods, a partial elimination diet doesn't really work, especially when you're starting. So I know we have options like, hey, you want to do a full elimination or a partial or isolated, but a partial doesn't really get you all the answers. It might give you some, but if you're eating 5 or 6 foods and you remove one of them and you don't really feel a difference, it's because it could be partially that food, but could also be a couple other ones. So you don't really know what the actual problem is unless you remove all of it and then test one at a time. So if you do the elimination, you really want to go completely full. You really want to go pretty much carnivore and then test individual plant foods, small quantities, individual, just one at a time. You really have to test these things one at a time and also understand the difference between what makes you feel amazing and what makes you feel bad, what negatively affects your body, but also what is neutral and doesn't really do anything for or against you. There are some foods you're going to eat that's kind of meh. You don't feel great or you don't feel bad. It just you don't feel much. So you really want to opt for those powerful foods, those ones that really make you feel optimal. And that's going to help you bias a little bit more towards making the best choices. So just understand that there are neutral foods. There's going to be ones that are definitely going to give you problems, bloating, joint pain, migraines, brain fog. You're just going to feel awful when you consume them. And then other ones are going to make you really feel better. So you have to really narrow down, but most people should be starting at the same spot. You should be eliminating most of these commonly inflammatory, I don't want to necessarily say toxic, but these foods that cause many people issues. Not everyone's going to get the same issue from every food, but it's important to treat them as if you're going to have problems with all these foods. That's what an elimination diet is. These foods are going to, we don't know which one it is. So we have to remove all these, possible suspects. Okay, let's get into some questions. If you want to join the Swole fam, we do private Q&A usually twice a week because we have the Rise and Swole. We have the Swole fam roundtable this Thursday. I should have had that image up when we started the show, but we have a roundtable. I'll bring it up now. Roundtable 40 this Thursday at 5 p.m. So day after tomorrow, the episode on Thursday, which are always private. Last week we had our Rise and Swole, but this week is Roundtable 40 at 5 p.m. So we have a live call and members can come up on stage and have a conversation, ask questions, just talk shop. So we're just going to have a free-flowing conversation. But yesterday during the accountability meeting, we also take questions too. So you can submit questions at any time at askpapaswolio.com. But if you're ready to join the fam, join us, swolenormousx.com, and be there for all the private live streams and roundtables and really plug in and let's take your 7 pillars to that next level. You heard? It's all about the effort that you put in. Yeah. And let's take a couple comments. Who is this? Was that Nancy? Nancy in the Telegram chat says, program the TV so it only plays Jocko Willink in the Daily Swole. He has to want to do it. Speaking about the 13-year-old that he wants to have a better workout when he's not home. I tell my son that I can't make you do it. It's his choice whether he wants to do it. You probably need to work out with him for a longer period of time to build the habit, for sure. And I would also make sure that understand that book, for example, we always talk about Atomic Habits. The most important thing is that he's getting it done. So maybe having him do something that's an hour-long workout is not going to be conducive for a child. But I would make sure that he has something that he can execute, something that's straightforward, that's total body, that's not necessarily to failure, good form, exercises that are going to be able to be executed properly when you're not there. And if he has a phone, he could always set it up on a tripod and take a video of him doing something with good form so you can assess his form and things like that. You could have like fun things like that. But something that's shorter and concise, maybe a 20-minute workout with a couple different exercises that change, because even though training should be consistent and the same and the same and the same and the same, repetitions is how you get results. So it's really about reps. Rep means repetition. It stands for repetition. And there's always people that say, I get so bored with the exercises. I get so bored with my workouts. That's the discipline. It doesn't matter. Boredom has no relevance. It has no relevance. You're going to have a lot of people out there that want to rub your taint and tell you, well, find something you enjoy doing. That's all well and good. But understand that something you enjoy doing isn't necessarily going to get you the results that you want. It can get you some. It can be entertaining. It could be rewarding in that sense. You enjoy this movement or this type of activity, and that's fine, as long as you're okay with not getting the results that you truly want. I'm not saying you won't. If you love lifting weights, then that's great, because that's what's going to get you the results that most people want. And I'm not saying train the way that to get the results that most people would want you to get, or they want it, so you should want it too. That's not what I'm saying. But the vast majority of people want to have muscle. They want to have less fat. They want to have proportion. They don't want to be imbalanced. Most people want to have muscle and be less fat. Now, some people want more athleticism. They want more specifics. Okay, those are individual people. Most people want to look and feel better. And what does that mean? That means less body fat and more muscle. So, in other words, you want to make sure, I always come back to pillar number 3 when I talk about training. It's about doing the right input for the outcome that you want. I had someone, I think it was on Twitter, I saw a reply. I don't usually check mentions. There's so many things going on. but someone said, what do you think about burpees? It's like, I don't think anything about burpees. What's the purpose of them? It's not like an exercise is good just because in itself it's beneficial. What are you trying to accomplish? You're just going to drop down and hop up and drop down and hop up. Okay. What do you want to do? What do you want the outcome to be? Most people just don't understand basic biology and adaptation, and they don't understand how the body works, which is understandable, but it's unfortunate that people aren't taught how their body fucking works and how adaptation actually takes place. So if you want a certain outcome, there's so many people that want outcome B, but they're doing the things to get outcome A. Or they want outcome A, but they're doing things to get outcome B, right? They want to be muscle, they want to be lean, they want to have abs, so they just start going running a few miles a day. You know, that's not getting you closer to where you want to go, maybe slightly. It's movement. So I'm not saying movement is bad, but in other words, what you enjoy, like what you find is entertaining, it's not necessarily going to get you the result that you want. And if you're okay with that, then fine, but just don't complain about not getting the result that you want. Just keep that in mind. Okay. Alan says in the Telegram chat, maybe there's more there than just the TV. Teens know it all. Maybe he wants to spend time with Pops, but maybe doesn't enjoy the plan. Yeah, it depends. I think we have to get a little more context as to what was going on with that situation. So you wanted him, like he wanted him working out when he's not home? I don't know. Let's see. Brenda, the elimination diet taught me how sensitive I am to salt, sugary or processed stuff, and raw cauliflower kills my gut. Ooh, cauliflower. Ditya Singh. Remember, we got questions. So we'll take a couple calls after this one. If you have a question, drop in the comments. #AskPapaSwolio. Is it necessary? Good. Avatar. I love it. Good avatar. Predator. Is it necessary to bulk? I don't want to put in extra effort. Well, I don't want to put in extra effort in cutting later on. So we'll work on this mindset here. I'd rather take more time in gaining muscle mass than go through the whole bulking and cutting process. So what do you, first off, coming into this saying, I don't want to put in extra effort. It's going to take a ton of effort no matter what you're doing. I'd rather take more time gaining muscles. Building muscle takes a ton of effort. So you better get that out of your brain. I don't want to put in extra effort. It should not come out of your mouth. You should be, if you want a result, you do whatever it takes to get that result. It's going to take a shitload of effort, a shitload of consistency, and it's going to take a shitload of time. So it's going to take longer than you think. It's going to take more work than you think. Just trust me. Don't go into it with that mindset. If you want to build muscle, then get ready to dig in. So is it necessary to bulk? But then you're saying, I'd rather take more time in gaining muscle mass. Like that's what bulking is. That's you're mixing up terms. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. Building muscle is bulking. What people consider bulking is getting fat. When we talk, if someone asks or mentions, hey, I want to bulk, that means I want to put on mass. What a lot of people do, or they associate with bulking, eating shit food. They associate with getting fat. That's not what bulking means to me. Bulking means building muscle. It's just slang for building muscle. What most people do is they bulk, they eat shit. They use it as an excuse to eat garbage. And they get really fat, and then they trim the fat off. It's more effort. You can build muscle and bulk without getting fat. It's bulking without getting fat is just building. It's just building muscle. It's just slang. It's a slang term. It's just building muscle. It takes time. It doesn't take a huge caloric surplus. It takes enough protein. It takes the proper stimulus, progressive overload, consistency. It takes all your focus. Some people can get some decent results by putting in average effort, but they're going to plateau hard. Trust me. If you're disciplined and you're focused, you're going to run circles around people. I remember in high school, there were some guys that you were lifting weights and they were taking some like they were doing shit in high school and they were kind of taking some things that some guy at the gym had. It was like some whatever. I don't know if it was test or I don't know what they were taking. But they were big and they were trying to lifting hard, stuff like that. I started learning how to do it properly. And I made so much more progress over the course of my career and life. They just fell out of it, just burned out and started slacking, got into drugs and stuff like that and other things. And I just stayed consistent. I fell in love with training and fitness and health and moving the body. So slow and steady wins the race. Anytime you think about getting the results quick, like how do I get it quicker? How do I get this more? It's not the right term. The speed is going to be the speed. Everyone's going to lose body fat based on their input, based on their genetics, their environment, their history, how many years of other habits did they subject their body to. Everyone's going to lose at a different pace based on their effort, their pace of adapting. Everyone's different. So how long will it take me to see results? How long will it take me to lose this fat? Maybe forever. Maybe you never do it. Maybe you never do it effectively. So it takes time. If you're worried about the speed, then you're not going to be focused on doing it right. If you do it right, it will come off in time and you'll keep it off. Anyone that tries to lose 20 or 30 pounds by cutting out carbohydrates, you flush out a ton of water, you'll lose 20 or 30 pounds, and you go on your girl cruise and you gain 40 because then you just drink margaritas all day. And you're eating shit. And you're just staying up late and you're just trashing yourself. So people lose water weight, they're chronically dehydrated, putting a lot of stress on their body, and they just gain all the water weight back. So these kinds of, I want to do this quick, I want to do this fast, these surface level approaches, you need to really be doing things for the right reasons if you want optimal results that you can keep off for a lifetime. You're changing habits and you're changing and you're molding, and that's long term. It takes time. And most people, that's not romantic. Most people don't want to think like that. Hey, how long will it take to get big like you? It's not going to take a year or two. It's going to take a lifetime of adapting and training. And fine, if you want to say, hey, can I build as much muscle as you? Because you're never going to be building muscle endlessly. You're going to stop. So can someone build and get like around like my size in like a few years? Sure. I mean, I've built this muscle and I've gone bigger and, up and down, but you start maintaining and you develop and you build strength. I'm not going to endlessly get, 225 and 230 and 240 and 250. You don't just build endlessly. You develop and you cultivate and you improve mobility. There's different things and different metrics to focus on. But the concern is, okay, you might build the muscle over a couple of years, but then here's the difference. Are you going to keep it? Are you going to keep the muscle? Are you going to get injured? Most people don't think this. They just want to look a certain way that they see on Instagram or TikTok or something. They want it fast. But the question is, are you going to maintain it? It's one thing to build muscle. It's one thing to get leaner. Okay. Are you going to maintain that for 30 years or 40 years? Are you going to get hurt because you started lifting heavy and you weren't resting and you weren't practicing yoga? This is where we separate, for lack of a better term, the men from the boys. Like, this is where we separate people that are actually serious about their fitness and are adapting and looking into the future and adjusting. So it's one thing to get results. It's one thing to make money, for example, and it's another thing to keep money. A lot of people make money and they spend more, and how many people win the lottery and they fucking lose all their money? It's because they don't know how to handle money. They've never had money, so they don't know how to keep money. They've always spent money. Spend. They win, yeah, and they buy a mansion, they're fucking broke in a year or two. It's sickening. They're stupid. Most people are stupid and they're ignorant and they don't understand how to, when you have money and you buy all these fancy things, it doesn't mean you have money. It means you don't have money because you fucking spent it. There's rich and there's wealth. Like, you spent it. Like, look at my fancy new Mercedes. It's like, well, you have that much less. You're showing that you don't save properly. You're showing that you waste your money on depreciating products. It's just the mindset, right? I'm not saying you can't have nice things, and if you have enough, you can start, maybe slightly, but people increase their lifestyle. And they're always drowning. So it's like people start seeing results. So what they do, they eat more shit. They have more cheat meals and they slack off a little bit more. You get cocky and you get back on your heels and you think that you can just maintain that momentum. But then you either burn out or you fall out of it or you get hurt and then you don't get back on. Most people aren't really in it for the long term. They're not really thinking about it properly. Just some thoughts. Alan, why are people into the fast results? People want instant gratification. People want instant gratification. People want instant gratification. We are programmed to get now. We're hungry. Our body, evolution, Okay. Get food now. Get shelter now. It's cold outside. There's danger. Get away from that danger now. Everything's now, 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 now. We're not programmed. When I say program, we haven't evolved for long term because there was no long term. It was always fight or flight. It was always constant threats of the environment. We don't really have that. Some of you have the concept when you go hunting and stuff like that. If you go camping, you know that nature is fucking savage as shit. We live in a nerfed world. Everything is, oh, we want water. I just turn on a faucet. Fuck, that water is not that easy to find in nature. Drinkable water. It's not like that. You have to cut plants and you have to drink what you can't just go into the ocean and drink or just go to any stream. You can get sick and die. So it's very easy to translate that into everything else. Everything I want now, especially now that we have everything that we want. You don't even have to go to the movie store if you want to rent a movie. You don't have to go to the movies. You just couple buttons on your phone, you watch anything or listen to any song at any time. You used to have to go to a record store, right? CDs, or go and buy it and look it up and stuff like that. Now you could just go on Spotify. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying everything else in our life it feeds into that instant. I want it now. Amazon Prime. I order something like, oh shit, we need some more, I don't know, let me just pick toilet paper. Okay. You go and order, and it's like, hey, we'll deliver between 2 and 6. It comes the same fucking day. I've ordered shit that shows up in an hour. It's insane. So it feeds into this instant gratification. That can save a lot of time. But then what do we do as humans? We have more time because we save it, because we can just push a few buttons and get things done. We don't have to go shopping for 3 hours out of our day. So now we have 3 extra hours. So what do? We fill it up with more shit. We don't meditate. We don't exercise. We don't make better choices with other things. We just fill it up with more shit. We fill it up with more things that stress us out. So people are always filling up their schedule and everyone's so busy. Like, why do kids, for example, have, they play 6 different sports and they have all these different things. They're just constantly running and stressed out. They don't have any free time to play or to think. Humans don't think. They're just, and then they drink alcohol and they watch TV to de-stress when their body needs some time. They need to hear some silence. They need to exercise. They need to just, get shit out. They need to be a human for a little bit. So anyway, people are just completely programmed on an evolutionary level for fast results, for instant gratification. We'll reframe it. But and everything in our society is reinforcing instant gratification. Even flipping a light switch. Hey, light. You used to have to wait for the sun to come up or light a fire. Oh, he is going nuts. He's dreaming. You okay, Tanty Man? All right. Let's see here. Freddie. Freddie's all about this reverse hyper. Papa Soy, my gym's reverse hyper machine can be adjusted. The pad can be angled to a slight incline or decline. Been using it as normal, but what would that change? I'd have to see it. Mine doesn't adjust. Just see what works best for you. I'm not sure exactly how you're referring to the adjustment. I can't picture it. I haven't used one that does adjust. So I couldn't tell you exactly. Maybe it's for where you grab the handles. Is it for where it touches your hip? I'm not sure exactly. You said angled. I mean, vertically? I guess it would mean less of a stretch, I suppose. If that's, I have to see the machine. Maddie, how often do you do yoga during the week? Lately, I've been doing more mobility with weights and stuff, but a couple times. So today is probably going to be one of those days where I practice a little bit more mobility. I've been into doing that a little bit more than just body weight stuff. So I'll do Jefferson curls and I'll do, I use my sliders for my adductors. So mobility is really, it's different than yoga. Obviously, pillar number 5 is mobility. So we put yoga in that kind of section where it's activating muscles and training through a full range of motion. So it really depends. But I kind of do micro mobility all the time and some yoga and some different poses for warm-ups and for intermittently. So I'm kind of always dropping into some sort of like mobility or different things now and again. Because we have, let's say, stall bars in the living room. So I'll go over there and I'll do some, couch stretches on it, hip flexor and extensor. I'll do some different movements. So it really depends. It really depends. But I do a lot of mobility with weight training activation. And you don't need weights for mobility. But that has been a game changer, like the Swollen Sevens and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that addition to like Swolga and yoga. Hey, I'm gonna have to wake him up. Okay. All right. Let's see. Bow. Most people don't even know what a woman is. Yeah, no shit. No shit.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
That's true. Most people don't. Yeah. Well, actually, most people do. But unfortunately, the problem is not that most people don't know what a woman is. Many people, or not enough people, are speaking up to make fun of shit that's stupid. More people need to speak up and call stupid shit to its face. So when people start doing that more, then reality will come back to the world, hopefully. But people need to start speaking up. It's pretty fucking ridiculous. It's pretty embarrassing. Anna, Papa, do you ever take a vacation, travel somewhere, or just a week off from social media daily routine? Do you see the Daily Swole going offline for a week? Of course not. So we have. I've traveled the country so much doing classes and stuff like that. A week off from social media, I haven't. I don't feel the need to take time off. I mean, we will go somewhere. We've done that, and I just do the show on the road, or we'll do calls and stuff like that. So nothing really has to change. The business is designed to be mobile. I just usually am here in the office doing the show, but it doesn't have to be. I have no problem doing, private live streams. We'll do like Swole. We'll do Swole calls for the entire week. If we go somewhere, it'll just be private episodes. There's enough content on here for a lifetime. So I have no problem. I would still go live for at least a few minutes a day, do like a 15-minute call or something like that if we're on vacation, because this is cool. I like being consistent, and, we'd still give members a chance to ask questions and stuff like that. That's really more like a check-in. And I know no one would mind if I did that. But a week off from social media / daily routine. So I'm assuming you mean like just anything else that I do. The thing is, the way I do things is the way I like to do things. So I think a lot of times it's good to get a change of environment, but I think a lot of people use vacations as an escape from a life they don't love and from things that they don't enjoy doing. Like if you hate your job, yeah, you want to get the fuck away. You want to get out as possible. If you're surrounded by people that are, you kind of want to unplug and go somewhere else. I get that. But one, I live in Florida. I always wanted to come down here on vacation when I used to live up north. So that's why I moved down here, because I always wanted to come down here on vacation. I've been to a lot of places around the country and I enjoy it, but I don't really like traveling the way I used to, or I thought I did. When I was younger, I was I think I always said like, oh, I love traveling. I always want to travel. I think I said that, or I felt that because I saw other people traveling. And I felt like I heard other people say they love traveling. So it's kind of something that I thought that I should do because other people like to travel and do stuff. But it gets old really quick. I'm not a fan of airports and flying. It's just, I've done a lot of it. So not that I won't again. But I enjoy my routine. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy training and being with the dogs and beautiful weather and out in the sun. So I don't do things that I don't want to do. So I have, and I would, and I will, and I could. So one of the most important things is optionality. So for example, next week, if there's something, I will be like, hey, I'll put out a bulletin. All right, all the live streams this week are for members only. Live call every day for whatever, live Q&A with members every day at noon this week. And then the podcast will be public again, the following week. So people will live, people will survive, but we still be live every day, but I can do it on the road. It's also additional content, be fun. I'm also not as inundated with social media I stay pretty unplugged from it. I do a lot of live streaming and this kind of stuff, but I'm not on social media all the time. And plus, I don't succumb to the same byproducts that a lot of people do. A lot of creators have this burnout and they have all these things. It's because they don't do it properly. Or they're doing things the way they think they should be doing them. They're making content that they don't really enjoy making. They're doing things that they don't really enjoy doing. And they didn't set that in stone early on. For example, you take a lot of sponsors, then you have a lot of people that are paying your bills and that you have to succumb to. So I always cringe. Not that I will never have a sponsor, but it gives me chills thinking about having a sponsor for like the show or the podcast or content. Because whether people want to admit it or not, anyone that has a sponsor, yeah, you're sucking the sponsor's dick. You're dependent on someone else and how you do your thing and how you do your show. And if you don't do the show, then you're not going to get paid. So you have to do it. A lot of people tie their own hands behind their back without realizing it. And then by the time they get so far deep into these things, they can't undo them. And they end up doing things a certain way because it'd be more popular or it would get more reach, but then you're stuck into doing it in that way. And I've made it a point to really try to think through to the end with a lot of content, with the podcast and with the show and different things. And there were different key periods. We've talked about this before, maybe in private episodes. There've been key periods and key moments that I really spent a lot of time thinking through and made decisions for the long term that I'm still satisfied with. But nothing wrong with vacations and doing things that you enjoy. Whatever you enjoy, like people need to do what they want to do. And one of the things that most people do is they do things based on what they think other people would want to do or what other people would approve of them doing. So never like, don't underestimate how many things out there are just a complete waste of time. Like, don't underestimate how little other people's opinions matter. Never underestimate that. And if more people focus on what they truly loved and said no to more things and stopped getting on your knees for everyone and being at everyone's beck and call, like, you'd be much happier. But that's if you truly enjoy what you're doing. If you're just lying to yourself, then you're going to be miserable. All right, Midnight's Anthem, Papa Swole, mobility recommendations for ankles. Lately, I feel like my ankles have been feeling a little stiff. I'm sure. Check out the ankle masterclass in the masterclass section, Swole Enormous X. You remember, right? If not, do some anterior tibialis raises, do some yoga, make sure you're mobilizing your Achilles tendon. Single leg calf raises are fantastic. Really focus on the stretch. Doing some toe raises are fantastic. You do them anywhere. Both of what I mentioned don't require any equipment. So single leg standing calf raises with focusing on the stretch. Doing either ass-to-grass lunges can be great. You can elevate the front block so you can really get into the soleus muscle, but also anterior tibialis raises. You don't need any weights for doing toe lifts. Maddie, it wouldn't be called the Daily Swole if we didn't do it daily. Goddamn right. Natasha, thank you for being here. Fire episode, Papa. Haven't caught a live in forever. Glad that you are here. I mean, speaking of which, we used to do the show. The show used to be every day at 12 noon. And I liked it. I like the branding and the marketing of it. Like every day, 12 noon Eastern time. And that was a decision that I made to stop doing it at 12 noon every day because it started just to be inconvenient. A lot of people have a show or they have a morning show and they do it 5 days a week and they don't do it the same way on the weekends, or they don't do it all on the weekends. This is something I was doing every day. And of course, the shows and different things have evolved over time. Used to be like the accountability meeting plus a live show, be a live show, and then it'd be the accountability meeting. And it was a lot. And I didn't want to do it at 12 noon every day anymore because I like the sun, and it wasn't always, and it was fine that it wasn't convenient because it used to be, it never was convenient. I had to rush back in, or, we're out somewhere or somewhere and I had to do the show. So it became, I didn't want it to be a burden like that for the rest of my life. So it was good for a few years. And then eventually it's like, well, it's going to be when I do it. And if you want to be a part of it, then you join Swole Text, you get a notification, you turn your notifications on, or, we'll do the Telegram. You'll get your notifications from Discord or Telegram or Swole Text if you're plugged in. And if you're not, then it'll be uploaded when it's uploaded. So that was a decision. And if it was always from the beginning, very beginning, if it was 12 noon every day, then everyone would know, no matter how often they've been listening to the show, or they come back, they know at 12 noon, it would be there. I know it'd probably get more views and it would have more of a routine when people knew exactly every day what time. But I'm not doing it for those people. It's not something that was a long-term good idea. So it was good for a while, and then I just changed it. I'm not afraid to change things. The consistency is the most important thing. So if I could be more consistent by being more flexible with it, then that's what we do. Kara, when was the last time you ate something unhealthy? I don't know. I don't think about food as healthy or unhealthy. Like, there's a reason why I wouldn't make certain choices, but like some foods that some people eat all the time, I would not eat. Like, this is why when someone says, I eat pretty clean, or I eat healthy, and they tell me what they eat, and I'm thinking, shit, I would never put that fucking stuff in my mouth. And pretty much everything that they eat, I wouldn't eat. So people's opinions, like what you define as unhealthy. So for anything, there's a reason why I eat what I eat, and there's a reason why I don't eat what I don't eat. And I don't think of anything as a cheat meal or, okay, I deserve it. If I want to eat something, I'll eat it. If I want to go down the street and get Papa John's, I will. I'm not going to call it a cheat meal. If I want to eat that, I'll eat that. I'm a grown-ass man. I just don't want to eat that because there's no value in it. Quite the opposite. So I don't think about it like, ooh, I'm being naughty. If I want food, if I want something, I don't think of it, oh, I'm craving sweet, or I'm craving this. Like, if I want something, I don't think of, hey, I'm going to have this, and I don't eat, so it's just how I think about things. I don't think of, so I have frozen mangoes. We'll take frozen mangoes out. I'll put raw cream on it, and it'll freeze like right away, and I mix it up, and I'll put some raw yogurt, and I'll slice some bananas on it, and I'll put a little Celtic sea salt on it, and it's essentially ice cream. You could blend it up, and that'll be ice cream too, and you can put some egg yolks, and you could blend it up and make it like, or some vanilla extract or whatever. You could blend it up and make like ice cream, but I just have it like in the chunks, and it tastes like ice cream. But I don't eat that in replacement of ice cream. I don't like those things. I don't like that idea. Oh, this is instead of ice cream. This is my homemade ice cream. It's like, just eat the mangoes with the cream on it. I'm not doing it as a filler for ice cream. I don't eat ice cream because it's bad, so I eat this instead. It's my replacement. It's my healthy replacement for ice cream. No, I just like that. That happens to be what they bastardize, that kind of thing. Like, that would be how you would actually make that kind of ice cream. It's cream that's frozen and blended with other things. It's ice cream. It's iced. It's cold fucking cream. That's all it is. But then when you buy it in the store. So this isn't a healthy replacement for it. This is actually what's supposed to be, and everything you buy in the store is just artificial preserved shit that can stay on a shelf for 8 months. So you have that with like fructose corn syrup and cornstarch and all this other shit in it. That's the fake shit. So get out of the habit of thinking, well, this is my healthy replacement for that. No. That is the garbage marketing profit maker of what I'm eating. So it's just the framing of it. I don't think about that. If you want to ask me, like, when's the last time I ate a certain product, you can ask me that. But I don't really think about things as healthy or unhealthy. I just eat my foods. I know what you mean, though. Like, the last time I had, like, a potato chips or things like that, I don't even remember. I don't know. 4 years or something? Like, I don't know. Freddie, I know with Jefferson curls, the back is meant to round. If your lower back doesn't round too much, should I practice it more often? Yeah. Don't go heavy. Very light. Very light. Hold that stretch. Slowly squeeze the glutes. Good form. Yeah, you need flexion and extension with your lower back. It'll improve over time. It's also your hip mobility too. A whole masterclass on ankles. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, we have tons of. Yeah, it's ankle mobility. There's knee mobility masterclass. There's a hip mobility masterclass. Enjoy. Talk about it all the time. I'm surprised you didn't hear me mention that before. I think we talked about it yesterday or the day before too. It's usually a couple times a week where someone asks a question where I refer to the masterclasses, those mobility ones in particular. Papa Swole, what was your pre-workout of choice back in the day? Well, what day? I don't remember. I used to take random stuff. Mesomorph. I think that stuff had like literally crystal meth in it. Let's see. Midnight Anthem. I have a desk job and I hear a lot of people say that working out does not mitigate the time spent stationary, either standing or sitting at a desk. Do you think this is true? Let me see if I understand that. I have a desk job. I hear a lot of people saying that working out does not mitigate the time spent. Oh, you mean like you're at a desk for 8 hours, but working out for an hour doesn't? No, I don't think it's true. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. It's not good to just stand at it or just sit at a desk for hours and hours. But those sound like fat, lazy people that want an excuse to not work out. It can absolutely change your life. Because when you're either not moving, but then you're doing an hour or so of strengthening, activating. So let's say working out does not mitigate. So let's say you're at a desk job. Okay. But you spend an hour or two before work or after work, or an hour before and after, or half an hour after and an hour, but you lift weights and you do yoga at night. Yeah. You'll be in amazing shape if you do it properly. Does not mitigate. It's not good to just be in one spot sitting all the time, but you can absolutely activate the muscles because it's focused training. Sitting at a desk is passive. You're not activating muscles. You get stiff, you get immobilized, you get inhibitions, and the posture positions can be bad if but you're not sitting in a chair, like strengthening. You're not like lifting your head, like really tightening your muscles. You're just relaxed. So doing focused, deliberate activity with repetitions over and over and over and over again can absolutely negate most, if not all, the issues coming from immobility if you do it consistently enough. That just sounds like something that a lazy fucking person who doesn't want to train would say, which I'm sure they are. Aditya, Papa Swole, forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm new to bodybuilding, but doesn't mean bulking mean having a caloric surplus by eating more to gain muscle, but you also gain much fat. Can you explain the process a little bit more? I already did. Don't worry. I mean, bulking means putting on size. It's slang. It's a slang term. It doesn't really have a definition. If you want to build muscle, then build muscle. People will consider that bulking. Most people associate bulking with getting fat and just getting really big, but you want to build muscle. So focus on that. Calorie surplus. Yeah, you should be around a maintenance or a calorie surplus, but it's very hard to calculate that accurately. You need enough protein. You need a progressive overload. You need proper sleep. You need to do it right and consistent for months and months and years and years. The more excess calories you consume that your body can't use, or extra carbohydrates from inflammation, things like that, your body will retain extra water and store the energy as fat. If you consume excess amounts for an extended period of time, your body will pack on fat. Tyler, do you think off-brand foods are sketchy? My God. You just called that's redundant. An off-brand food is definitely sketchy. Oh, how do you mean an off-brand food? Like Equate at Walmart or something? I mean, that's their brand, but what do you mean an off-brand? Most branded foods are probably shit to begin with. Like, hey, I'm eating the bits like Chips Ahoy, and this one's like Chips Aho. I mean, they're both shit. So what are you talking about? Nasfi, what are your thoughts on dirty bulking? Would you recommend it? Absolutely not. That's a lazy way and usually an excuse to maintain an addiction or to eat shit and not really try that hard and just eat extra food. It's easy to dirty bulk. Anyone that says, oh, it's hard, it's very hard. It's not. That's the easy way of just getting fat. Most people get fat. They'll cause themselves other health problems and they'll look like shit and they're not getting the proper nutrient dense food. So dirty bulking is lazy. Midnight Anthem. That's what I thought. It just sounded so dumb to me that working out is pointless if you have a desk job. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, standing desks are okay. I mean, I have one that goes up and down. I think standing desks are overrated. Like if you're standing in one spot too, it's not good either, but at least you can move around a little bit, or you can do something with your feet if you have like a tennis ball, or you could be doing stuff. So standing is better, but standing in one spot for a while isn't good either. You gotta be moving. But if you're standing, you're more likely to be moving too, or to move around. All right, we didn't even get into any of these calls. We'll get into them tomorrow. I'm just going to save them for tomorrow. I should have jumped into them earlier, but let's go balls deep. That was great questions. We kept on going and realized how long we're going for.
That's deep.
So we'll get into all those calls tomorrow. Balls deep time. We'll maybe do one video. We don't really have a lot of time, but we'll do maybe one or two, depending on what we got here. I think we'll have to save we'll do a story. Maybe we'll do one video. Swole Fam Roundtable, Thursday, April 6th at 5 p.m. Roundtable 40. Be there. You could join us, swolenormousx.com, and join us for that roundtable. It's going to be fucking fire. Love me some round tables. And let's see. Maybe we'll be able to do... we'll be able to get through a couple of these. We don't have anything ridiculously long. Oh my God, that face. Horrifying. All right, we have... Good questions today. Good live streams. Good live questions. All right, let's see here. Drum roll. What we got here? Wheeze deep, beaches.
What's in the box?
Wheeze deep. Also, if you enjoy the Knowledge Cock and you want some more, make sure you also subscribe to the Swolenormous audio experience. Got a few if you type in Swolenormous, you'll see a couple podcasts come up, but the ones that are going to be are uploaded the most, the Daily Swole, and of course the Swolenormous audio experience. There's a new one that was uploaded yesterday, and we'll probably do another one for today. All right, so make sure you subscribe to that also. Kids who stay up later on weekends are more likely to be fat, as scientists blame, quote, social jet lag. I'm going to give a Matt Damon. Okay, here's an announcement. Not everything has to be branded and labeled and have some sort of diagnosis. Social jet lag. That doesn't even fucking make sense. This is the stupidest fucking phrase I've ever heard in my life. There's nothing with a jet involved. I know what it means. Like, oh, you're going different time zones. That's stupid. All that means is you're staring at a fucking screen too long. You're not sleeping enough. Social jet lag. That's retarded. It's retarded. So the article says, letting school children stay up a bit longer on the weekends may seem like a harmless treat, but children whose bedtime is later on the weekends and during the week tend to be heavier with larger waistlines. No shit, you're teaching them bad habits. You're teaching them bad habits. They're staring at a screen. They're not getting sleep. Their hormones are all getting fucked up. Shocker. That is likely due to, quote, social jet lag. The shift in someone's body clock caused by varying bedtimes, which may also affect how efficiently they process food. Okay, kids. How about adults? Again, fam, look at those title. This happens with adults too. You don't get proper sleep, it's going to negatively affect your body's endocrine system. Now, the endocrine system, your hormones, this is how your body sends messages. That's how the brain sends messages to other organs, how organs communicate with one another. This is how the body sends communication. So when you want to move your arm, you just move your arm. That's a nervous impulse, a neural impulse. Your nervous system sends an impulse and you can enact it very quickly. Hormones take a little bit more time, usually take a few minutes to several minutes to longer, and they have an effect for much longer. So your body will let you know when you're full, when you're hungry, and it secretes hormones, different organs, different glands, and these little hormones hit organs or they connect and like a lock and key. So you have a certain hormone that will hit a certain receptor, and when that receptor starts getting action from the hormones, that gland or that organ will enact a response and then secrete insulin or secrete something else. And, let's say a receptor notices that blood sugar is dropping, then, glucagon will be released, which, breaks down glycogen. I think it's glucagon from the liver and from muscles. And then you'll release blood sugar to bring it back up, negative feedback system. So get quality sleep. This is not like, I'm shocked at like the fact that this has to be studied, but more people need to pay attention to this, not just children. Researchers looked at 10,245 children aged 9 to 12 in Finland who were asked what time they went to bed on school nights and on non-school nights. The results show the average child going to bed 2 hours later on the weekend had a waist circumference about an inch larger. That's a huge difference. An average child whose bedtime was 2 hours later could have a body mass index, which was 0.32 higher than children with consistent bedtimes, the results suggest. So these are, it's not like, wow, an inch. Yeah, but it makes a big difference. Remember, this is the average. So some children will have 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches. So remember, these are average, these are stats, but it doesn't tell us anything we don't know. We know that not getting quality sleep will negatively affect weight gain. You're up later, you're eating more food, you're awake. I'm sure you're snacking, or the kids are snacking, and they're also eating more calories, they're eating more food, they're negatively affecting their hormones. And in other words, we can project this more over distance. So this is a no-brainer. It doesn't mean that everyone that stays up an hour later is going to be fatter, but you're definitely negatively affecting the way your body is functioning. It doesn't always translate the same way, but this is not like a mind-bending concept. Just what this might show you is how little you actually require to make a negative change. Remember, this is an average, and they're surveying or they're testing or they're observing 10,000 children. But this just goes to show, like, even for adults, it's Friday, so people just stay up all fucking night. And I always talk about this, it doesn't just affect the next day. It affects 2, 3, 4 days later. If you eat junk food on Friday, you might not notice it because you're always eating junk food on a Friday, or you're used to these kind of chemicals in your body. This shit will affect you for the next couple days. How many of you had something, let's say you did an elimination diet and you had some food that you don't normally have. You had some shit quality food. The next day you feel hungover. You feel like you got hit by a sledgehammer. This stuff negatively affects you. You just don't realize it when you're always exposed to these low quality foods. But when you remove these things from your environment, you notice it dramatically. Your body is resensitized to those things, and all of a sudden it can cause a big problem. And if you're used to going to sleep at the same time, and then all of a sudden you go to sleep 2 hours later, the next morning, oh my God, you'll feel it. The more consistent you are, the more you'll feel those nuanced changes. Let's see. You can look up that study. It's just an interesting, part to bring up, but it's also common sense based on like what we discuss and what we talk about. Stella, I call bull. My kid stays late and is not fat at all. It's not a guarantee. I know staying late is not good, but it's all about the food. It's absolutely not all about the food, Stella. You're here most of the time. I'm surprised you don't realize that. It's not all about the food. It's not all about the food. It's about the endocrine system and the hormones that dramatically can negatively affect cortisol levels, and there's a lot of issues with staying up late. Now, your child is not fat at all now, but this is the kind of thing that can definitely change over time. So all it's saying is I just found it very interesting because a lot of kids don't get quality sleep. And of course, this also does translate into habits as you get older. So you extrapolate that over time, and it can definitely be packing on the pounds. So it is about the food. It's definitely not all about the food. And this is why it's not just about the calories. So a lot of people want to justify, oh, you can eat junk food and lose weight. Some people can, but at the same time, you're not getting nutrient dense food. You're not taking into account all the side effects, leaky gut, inflammation, and all the other things that poor food choices. So energy balance does matter, but not all calories are used the same or stored the same. But yeah, so I'm glad your child's not fat, but it's definitely not a good thing to sacrifice sleep at all. And this is coming from someone, like, I know I used to stay up super late and I never really paid too much attention to sleep until more recently, as a huge mistake. It takes years off your life. Poor sleep, years off your life. It's shocking. And it's just unfortunate. And getting back to like, Stella's point and, just kids and things like that. What also frustrates me now that I've learned how important sleep is and how important these things are, so many things like sporting events, any kind of movies or show, like it's always 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Like, no joke. This is literally, it's so bad. Our society gears you to staying up all fucking night. Like everything is 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Like people should be winding down, not staring at a screen. I know they do that because of different time zones. They do that so people are off work, but shows will feature, they'll go on like on HBO or something. If it's a popular show, it'll be at 9 or 10 o'clock at night. And I never used to think that 9 or 10 was late. I never used to think that, oh, it's early. I post those videos, go to fucking sleep, go to bed. But Papa, it's only 11:30. Jesus Christ. Just the more you focus on sleep, and I'm always talking about recovery, but I always tell you, it's more important. Sleep is more important than food. It's more important. It's more important than food. It's breathing, it's air. It's breathing, it's air, air and breathing, and water and sleep. Food is after that. So there's always people that are talking about food. Like, what should I eat? How many calories? Blah, blah, blah. And the elimination diet. I need to change my diet and nutrition habits. No one says sleep, do they? Hey, I really need to, I'm 100 pounds overweight. I need to really work on my training and nutrition. Blah, blah, blah. No one says I need to work on my sleep because people don't understand how impactful sleep is. And if they thought about sleep as even more, and most people, even if they do fad diets and stuff like that, they are talking about nutrition. They're focusing on nutrition, whether they're doing it right or not. Obviously, that's a whole different conversation. But what if people focused on sleep? What if people talked about sleep with the same intensity, and the same focus and the same seriousness as nutrition? Stella, you can stay up late and still get enough sleep. Yeah, that's not the point I'm making. And yes, I realize it's not good to stay up late, but most of the time I personally find it very hard to fall asleep before midnight. Okay, so now we're talking about, that we could also have a different conversation about your nutrition, your evening routine, what your habits are. And it takes time to shift. Like, you absolutely could fall asleep before midnight, but it's all the other habits. Blue light at night, or do you turn off all the lights in your house? Do you only red lights? Do you meditate? Do you have an evening routine? When do you start that? When's the last time you're eating? Blah, blah, blah. Like, are you waking up early? Like, if you go to sleep late and then you wake up later, it's going to affect your sleep. People don't realize how much that affects. So if you normally go to sleep at, let's say 10 o'clock and you're waking up at 8, but then you go to sleep at 12, so you sleep until 10, you're not going to go to sleep at the same hour. You're going to have a harder time to sleep that next night. If you woke up at the same time at 8, yeah, you'd be a little more tired, but you would go to sleep at the same time again and you'd wake up and stay on your routine. But people shift it. Oh, I'm going to sleep late, so they sleep in. But then it fucks up the next routine. And then talk about compounding that with inconsistencies. And no one's perfect, but the people that are the most consistent will notice this. And the more it's just like with nutrition. The more consistent you are with your nutrition, the more you notice, and the more all these junk foods taste bad and smell bad and make you nauseous and will negatively impact you. If you're sleeping all sorts of, an hour later, an hour earlier, you always are groggy. You don't realize it. I'm not talking to Stella, I'm just talking in general. You don't realize how groggy you are, but you always are in this haze. I promise you, you're always in this haze. If you go to sleep at 12, and then you go to sleep at 10, and you go to sleep at 11, and you go to sleep at 1, and you go to sleep at 9, which is probably unlikely. If you go to sleep late, usually you don't go to sleep at 9. But then you go to sleep at 3, and then you go to sleep at 12. Then you're used to that haze. You're used to being in that fog. You're used to being always tired. You might not always feel tired, but that's because you're used to it. That's your new normal. Same thing with pain, same things with bloating, same things with inflammation. You're used to always being compromised. So it seems like it's normal. But I promise you, how many of you can drop in the comments once you really, let's say, okay, how many of you go to sleep at 10? You go to sleep at the same time, like pretty much, and wake up at the same time. And you get enough sleep. Like, it's a game changer. Going from not getting quality sleep, and it's not just quality sleep. It's not just the time you sleep. It's the depth of the sleep, and it's the consistency of the time of the sleep. That's so important. 8 hours is not 8 hours, is not 8 hours, not 8 hours. So going to sleep at 9 and waking up at 6 is what, 9 hours? But then you go to sleep at 12 and then you wake up at 9, you're going to feel like you got hit by a fucking truck. But the consistency of the sleep is really important. And it's hard to explain that if you've always been kind of like late and early but it's different people. Some people, like, if it's consistent. I mean, I'm not saying you have to go to sleep at 9. Some people have to go to sleep at 11 or 12. But if it's consistent every night, 12 to 8, 12 to 8, 12 to 8, 12 to 8. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. So I'm not saying there's only one way for everyone. But I just want people to think about sleep like they do nutrition. So the same kind of mind-blowing experience, and a lot of you understand what I'm talking about. You've done the elimination diet. Holy shit, I didn't realize that let's say white potatoes. I used to always eat white potatoes and I had trouble sleeping. I didn't realize that was a nightshade, and I'm sensitive to nightshades, and not me personally, but I don't eat white potatoes, but I'm just saying people will have that concern, right? And oh my God, I never noticed it. I feel so much better. I don't have bloating. Let's say they have a specific issues with that, or they have whatever it is. It's night and day. It's mind blowing. The same thing with sleep. And I didn't know this until I used to always say, oh, I'm a night person. I'm a night person. I always used to say that. I always used to say that I'm a night person. Actually, I'm an adaptable person. So I was going to sleep late and staying up super late all hours of the night for so long. I was just used to it. I just adapted to it. Like I was working a night shift without getting paid for it. Actually, I was building the business and doing other things, but I've been up late, in college and shit. I'm like, fuck, for 30 fucking years, I was destroying my health while I was lifting. And yes, I built muscle, and yes, I got lean because I was training hard and eating right. Your body can overcome and be resilient for a lot of things, but I guarantee it took years off my life. Doesn't mean you can't build muscle and have abs if you're not getting quality sleep and you're going to sleep late, but you're not going to feel as good as you can. You're not going to actually have I could have made a lot more results. I could have been a lot more effective and a lot more efficient. I could have thought a lot more clearly. I could have made a lot better decisions. But the same thing with nutrition. When you really focus on sleep, it will change your life. It's more important than nutrition. Just think about how much effort and how much mind thought and how much attention, how much seriousness the fitness world or you all put onto nutrition. It's like, wow, yeah, it's so important. We all know that. You want to get results and lower inflammation and build muscle. We all know nutrition is so important. Okay, well, sleep is more important. And then marinate on that, meditate on that a little bit, and think about what I just said. It's more important. It's objectively more important for being a human. You can go a week without eating. I'm not saying it's going to be comfortable if you've never done a week-long fast, but you can't go a week without sleeping. Can you survive? Maybe. You're going to collapse. You're going to be a fucking zombie. I would recommend, if you want to blow your fucking nips off, check out the book Why We Sleep by Matt Walker. He's been on Joe Rogan's podcast. He was on it a couple years ago. I don't know if it was more recently, but in the 1100s somewhere. If you really want to learn a lot about sleep or get a master class or I think he has a podcast now too. But if you want to kind of get some more direct, don't just take it from me. Let's see. Let's read some comments. I think it's important. I know we're going balls deep. I know we went long, but we like it long. I mean, that's why everyone's here. Because. Thank you for all the comments. And thank you for bringing up that topic, Stella. Appreciate it. For dropping the comments. Let's see, Megan, I love sleep. Accidentally keep falling asleep at 7:30 lately. I'm like an old person now. Let's see. Loretta, 100% important. One of the main reasons I quit drinking alcohol destroys healthy sleep. Absolutely. And this is the problem when people use, I know there's different strains of marijuana and stuff like that. And some people say, oh, it helps me sleep, and this, that, and the other. But the problem is with let's say alcohol, for example. People drink, or the classic thing is, oh, you drink before sleep because it helps me fall asleep. Fine, true. But it negatively affects the quality of your sleep. You don't get the same kind of deep recovery and restorative sleep. So it might help you fall asleep, but you get less of the benefits of sleep. It compromises the quality of your sleep. Also, people often inaccurately equate the length of time spent in bed. How many times are you waking up in the middle of the night? You can change habits that can mitigate how many times you have to get up. Like if you're drinking tons of water super late at night, you want to taper off so you don't have to get up to piss all the time. If you're tossing and turning, you're in bed for 8 hours, but how much actual sleep are you getting? Just because you got into bed at 10, you woke up at 6, doesn't mean you were getting deep restorative sleep. So we always talk about blackout shades and cold room and maybe magnesium before bed, or an evening routine, meditation, dark lights, no phones, no TV, no screens, red lighting, that kind of stuff that can help you shift down into evening mode because we're always being inundated with lights that can stimulate, our brains and our photoreceptors in the eyes that tell us, hey, it's still light. Release sugar into the bloodstream. Release sugar into the bloodstream. We need to be active. We need to be active. Hey, we're tired. We should be in bed. But because of all the lights and the fluorescent lights, because you're at a store, or you're at the movies or something that's super late, your body is saying, it's late. We should be sleeping, but we're still awake. So I need some energy. Hey, sugar, sugar, hunger, hunger, hunger. That's why a lot of people have sugar cravings late at night. They're not getting enough nutrition. They're dehydrated and it's late and they should be sleeping. You shouldn't have hunger cravings. You should be fucking in bed. So a lot of times these things are cyclical with hormones and things that are released from poor sleep patterns. And there's a reason why people are having these food cravings and sugar cravings at 11 o'clock at night. It's like, you're not supposed to be awake. So there's other habits to go along with it. All right. Artur, I don't even use an alarm clock. Beast. John, it took a year sleeping 10 hours a night to put on serious, mature muscle. Nice. Let's see. Barrett, I do sleep better than I used to, even though I work the third shift now. Frank, I go to sleep at 9 every night, wake up for work at 4:30 every day. Sleep is a challenge. I'm not saying it's easy. Yeah, Chris, I will say it's so hard to get a good sleep cycle when our newborn is waking up every 1 to 3 hours. No quality sleep the last 4 months, so it's really hard to get up and drive to the gym at 4 a.m. now. Yeah. I mean, and this is why you should pay so much attention to it. Like, don't take it for granted. Like, oh, I didn't get good sleep last night. It shouldn't be something that, again, it's one of the controllables. It shouldn't be something that you don't take seriously. My point is, a lot of people out there, the best place to start is, most people are not paying attention to sleep. They're eating shit. They're watching TV. They're in bed staring at a screen, right? They're in bed staring at a screen, flashing lights, and then, or they fall asleep with the TV on and shit like that. It's just terrible. It's terrible. They fall asleep. A lot of people fall asleep or they go to bed and they fall asleep from exhaustion. They collapse. They're exhausted. So my point is, no matter where you are, if you focus on sleep the same way that you focus on nutrition, if you think about it as, okay, what can I do to improve my sleep? You will see improvements in your life. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I don't get the perfect sleep every night. Sometimes we go to sleep. I wish we got to sleep earlier. And then, Mama Swole's got to get up at 6:30 and we went to sleep a little bit later. And I don't mind getting up at 6:30, but I didn't get to sleep as early as I would want. So I get up early anyway. I kind of feel this and I turn over and I just kind of move slightly in the morning and Church jumps on my face like a fucking like a lemur or something. She's like a ferret, like licking my ear. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And she'll just jump on my face. So you're up. It's not perfect, but my point is put the same focus and attention on sleep and your life will improve. Small improvements with sleep improve your workouts. It'll improve your mood. It'll improve your recovery. It'll improve your fat metabolism. It'll improve your muscle building. That's all I'm saying. As whatever you're paying attention, whatever you're doing to get sleep now, focus more energy on your sleep and you'll benefit more. It's just focusing more on it. I'm not saying, oh, go from 0 to perfect, because those habits die hard. If you're used to going to sleep at midnight or 11 o'clock or 1 a.m., shifting that earlier, you're going to be like awake. But that's the issue with going to sleep later and then getting the same amount of sleep and sleeping in. That's the problem. You sleep in, you're fucking up that next night. You're not going to be tired. Or drinking caffeine at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. So you should be done with coffee like 10 hours before you want to go. If you want to go sleep at 10 o'clock at night, don't drink caffeine past noon. But Papa Swole, I go to the gym in the evening. You want to get a good quality sleep? I mean, it makes a huge difference. People are drinking Monsters at 5 o'clock and wonder why they have trouble falling asleep. I just can't fall asleep early. You don't say. You don't say. Yeah, Stella, alcohol destroys everything. When I was drinking, I used to wake up every 2 hours. That's true. Haven't had that for ages now. Yeah, see, it's just, yeah, everyone just needs to focus. Just saying, no matter where you are, everyone listening, even if you really pay attention to sleep, just, let's say you're getting to sleep the same time every night. Cool. How do I get deeper quality sleep? Maybe you're waking up in the middle of the night. It's like, what things do you have in place to make sure that stays consistent? Freddie, people ask why I'm able to wake up quickly, so to speak. It's because I'm good with my quality and sleep patterns. I can be up at 5:30 a.m. for work, and by 6 I feel awake. I mean, a lot of people are, what's the classic, right? What's the classic? You wake up, you're groggy, so you go into the kitchen and the coffee's already made and you just start sipping coffee right away. You're going to crash hardcore in the afternoon. Andrew Huberman's talked a lot about this, and we've been discussing it for a long time, waiting for a couple hours to drink coffee. So you actually wake up. You might wake up slowly, especially at first, but then you're not going to have that afternoon that afternoon crash. You're going to mitigate that, of course, with good nutrition and good hydration if you delay caffeine intake for like 2 hours after you wake up. I've never read that book. Jeff says Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson is a good book. Cool. Thanks for the reco. Anyway, just ideas. I think the most important thing. Yeah, Megan, that's what Mama Swole, that's what we're gonna do. I think it's ridiculous. You're supposed to co-sleep, really. That way, you're not getting up and going to a different room and all that stuff. You have to I just figure. I think a lot of this stuff with parenting. I think you just need to make sure that you're focusing on the parents need to focus on themselves. Yeah, you want to give everything to your kid. You want to focus on the kid, but it's just got to make sure you're getting your sleep. Do the best that you can. Do whatever you can to get better sleep. This Megan says, advice from a mom of 3 kids under 5, co-sleep with the baby and get some kettlebells. You know what? I think kettlebells are probably the best. I would say, I always talk about this. I think kettlebells are the best. It's the best piece of equipment for people that are busy, for people that don't have a lot of space. Like, it's a mind-blowing piece of equipment. You could have a couple kettlebells in the corner. I don't have enough room for a home gym. Yeah, you do. Like, can you walk in your apartment? Do you have a hallway? You don't need any room. You don't need a bench. You don't need all these things. You just need a kettlebell. And then you get a couple, like a little bit, 4 or 5 kettlebells. You just put them against the wall. They don't take up space. They don't take up space. They do if you have a lot of them, but you know what I mean? Fucking fantastic. Every body part, power, strength, endurance, all that stuff. Different weights. They're not that expensive considering you don't have to spend $10,000 on equipment. A kettlebell might be $50 or $100 and you can get, upgrade or get another one over time and get another one. And then, I want doubles. So then you get another one to match the other one. You can chip away, but you can get started right away. Like if you're trying to lift and work out, you don't just buy one dumbbell and then get another dumbbell and then get one plate. You need to get 2 plates. Like if you're getting a rack and then you're going to be a few $100 deep and stuff like that, unless you get some free stuff. But the best way to start, like to just ramp up. Hey, I only have $500 to get equipment. It's like, you can get everything you want. You need a mat. You get a couple kettlebells, maybe a couple bands or something like that. Boom, you're good to go. Yeah, do you have a closet? You can do kettlebells. No space. Brianna, co-sleeping while breastfeeding is the only way I've gotten any sleep. Now, I'm talking not from personal experience because we don't have kids, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to do all that stuff. Absolutely. It's just like, you're not, to get up all night and it's ridiculous. The baby's crying because it's scared. It doesn't know where it is. It needs to feel held. It needs to be close. It needs to be on the mama. Yeah. All right. We're going deep, but great conversation. I'm glad whenever we go deeper with the sleep stuff. I just thought that story was interesting. I'm not going to go through all the details of that, but you can look it up. That was from the Daily Mail. and the exact study, what exactly they went through, but it's just kind of common sense. But I just thought it was important to understand. And don't forget, when you have children that are staying up late, children that stay up late become teenagers that stay up late, become adults that stay up late. Not that they'll never stay up late, but that's what I did. I was always up late, and then I grew up and I was always up late. I'm a night person. I'm always up. I'm just a night person. You've heard people say that I'm a night person. No, I'm not. But when you're going to sleep late all the time, that's just what you do. That's what you do. And then guess what? If you're going to sleep all the time late, then you just get used to that. That's when you're tired. That's when you go to sleep. So then you're awake at night because you're a night person. No, I'm not a night person. I just never created good habits or understood the importance of sleep, and I never focused on it. So I'm not a night person. I just went to sleep late all the time. Freddie, kettlebells are a great tool for stopping your bass drums when moving when you aren't using them as well. Very nice. Excellent. And yeah, Frank, Facebook Marketplace is a great place to get cheap equipment. Agreed. Okay, so man, deep episode today. Big time episode. Let's take a raffle. Let's clean up the internet a little bit. We need to do our janitorial work. Hope you enjoyed the Mancast. We went extra long today, but I don't think anyone's complaining.
Because Dickens.
Good conversation on sleep. We had to go deep on it. I just want everyone to pay attention to sleep as much as they do their nutrition. And I just know from personal experience. So when I talk about the elimination diet, anytime that I talk about something and I'm passionate, I push it really hard, it's because I have seen it work with so many people. I've seen it with myself and I want to share it. So I'm telling you, from someone that wishes they focused on sleep for my entire life up until a couple years ago, like I wish I didn't really start focusing on my sleep until a couple years ago. I'm kind of glad I didn't for one part because I would have been more effective, but I was doing a lot of video editing and stuff for the business, but I should have been getting more sleep. One of the things about working late at night, though, it's kind of like the same thing about getting up early. You know, not everything's quiet. Everyone's sleeping. The whole world is like, it's dark and you're just fucking getting shit done. But you can do that in the morning too. I would have rather started getting up super fucking early rather than, I feel better. I just feel better. Getting up early and feeling rested is awesome. The sun's coming up and you just feel awake and it's great. Bao says long and deep. Very nice. Very nice. I appreciate it. I know you like it.
Emotional damage.
I know you like it, Bao. I know you fucking like it. I know you do. The longer, the better. Swole slots are coming out in full force today. That's what she said. Stella, can I complain that you hurt my feelings now? Just kidding, you haven't. I didn't think so. That's why you're here. No, you're awesome. You're awesome, Stella. Anyone with any sense loves it long and deep. We can just keep on making dick jokes. We can just do that. All right, did we pick a number? Did I see that? Pick a number 1, 2, or 3. Did I ask for it? I thought I did. I'm looking up. I didn't see any numbers. All right, number 1 wasn't even a rant, but I still loved it. It was kind of a rant. Get your fucking sleep. Go to sleep. Go to bed. Number 1, number 2, number 3.
What's in the box?
Dodson, we've got Dodson here.
All right, I'll take the first one. I'll take anything. Ooh, positive charisma. Positive charisma choosing fat phobic lesbians. My God.
Matt Damon.
What a title of that's the file title. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Okay, fat phobic lesbians in 3, 2, 1.
The fat phobic lesbians are at it again on Twitter, talking about.
I'm going to pause it right there. Now, there's a lot of stuff on Twitter. I think you need to get off fat phobic lesbo Twitter. The fat phobic lesbians on Twitter. Is this how you're going to spend your time? That's a side of Twitter I hope to never experience, but I guess we will now.
The fat phobic lesbians are at it again on Twitter, talking about how they're not fat phobic and proceeding to say that if they have to lift someone's tummy up to get to the you-know-what, they don't want it. And it's like, why would you go on?
Yeah, to lift up the tummy to get to the puss. Oh. What's the password? Speak friend and enter. Mellock. Belloc or whatever. You have to speak Elvish. We will go through the mines of Moria. Let the ring bearer decide. Okay, enough. It's Saruman. I got.
Why would you go on Beyonce's internet?
What?
And declare that you're bad at sex?
Beyonce's internet? Beyonce's internet? What? I thought it was Al Gore's internet. Come on.
Why would you go on Beyonce's internet and declare that you're bad at sex? And it's weird because, like, men do that all the time.
Don't bring us
you
into
as
this.
Lesbians should know better. Nobody wants to sleep with you anyhow with that kind of attitude.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Matt
What?
Damon.
Fam, do not do drugs. Do not do drugs. Do not do drugs. Please do not do drugs. Wow.
You
don't even-
make me happy.
Okie dokie. Okay. Here we go. What the fuck was that?
How dare you?
What was that? We start with lifting the gunge flap. Is that a Stitch? Is that a man? Is that a man? Oh my god. Oh, this is going to be crazy. We're doing that one last. I'm not even raffling it off. That's the fact that we did this one. To give you some context, the next one we're going to do isn't what I perceive to be the worst one. So we're going to do that one last. And when you see this next one, you're going to be like, oh my God, what's next? Just saying. Okay, here we go. This one's called Concerned for Your Health.
What's in the box?
Oh, come on. That was...
I gave it a 10. A 10.
The attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science.
Woo! All right. The Daily Swole, best way to start the morning. If you like to intermittent fast, start the day with the Daily Swole. Because if you're trying to intermittent fast, just watch the Daily Swole. Your intermittent fisting, the lesbian video. It's just, that was a Freudian slip with the whole lesbian fisting, I suppose. If you're trying to not eat, just watch the Daily Swole. We'll make sure you lose your appetite. Okay. Intermittent, new shirt, intermittent fisting. I support intermittent fisting. Ow, ow, heart attack, chest pain. Intermittent fisting. Just think of how important is a vowel. The importance of a vowel. Okay, let's call it concern for your health.
I'm not being fatphobic. I'm just concerned for your health. Bullshit. That was very acidy. And here's why it's bullshit. It's nothing to do with health at all. We don't care about the health. It's to do with fear. Because as a society, we've been ingrained to believe that being fat is the worst possible thing you could be. So people have this fear of being fat. And what I believe people are actually doing when they say things like this, oh, I'm concerned for your health.
Her ad is chubby mermaids. Oh my God, don't kiss that one. Ooh. Throw it back! Catch and release!
It's a way to comfort themselves because they believe so adamantly that being fat means you're a failure, you've given up,
Blimey.
you have an unhealthy diet, you don't put any effort in, blah, blah, all the rest of it. And if they don't do that, that means they can't possibly be fat. It's a very dangerous mindset for both parties. The simple fact is, the science behind it is that weight doesn't equate health, health doesn't equate weight. And the sooner you're out of that mindset, the better.
All right.
I got hairy legs.
Move. All right. I hashtag save the mermaids. What an insult. What an insult to all the mermaids out there. What an insult to all the mermaids.
How dare you?
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna put my nutsack.
That's
on
a
your
shame.
drumset.
All the mermaids out there are like, how dare you speak for us? How dare you speak for us? Some people in the comments are sniffing out a Y chromosome. Yeah, I don't know. You can't tell anymore. Speaking of, okay, I don't know what. All right, I don't know what this is going to be. Fam, this is going to be bad. Hashtag most people don't. I just saw Julian, the meme in the Telegram chat. What the fuck is that? Most people don't. Hashtag most people don't. We'll give away that Swole card after we do this video. The title or the file name in my folder is called Offering Students Chest Binders at School. Jesus fucking Christ.
Matt Damon.
Now, I guess this is a guy. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is going to happen. It's going to be bad. The account is Sister Evelyn Good. The caption, it gets cut off, but it says, I teach at an explicitly trans affirming high school, and if you do too, let us know. They can't spell. An explicitly trans affirming high school, aka we abuse children. Jesus Christ. Some of these people are so sick. I don't know what this is going to This is a guy with a beard, but I don't know what's going to happen. All right. If this kind of stuff bothers you, now's the time to use your earplugs. Here we go. I don't know what's going to happen.
What's in the box?
I assume this is the worst. It sounds the worst. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
I teach in an explicitly trans-affirming high school. We have gender support plans. We have a gender-affirming wardrobe at our school. We have binders on demand for our students and others.
Well, hold on a second. We have binders on... if you don't know, chest binders when they smash the fucking tits. They okay. Binders on demand? Is this legit? Has anyone heard this before? I know they affirm and they, I know, we all know the grooming is occurring, but I didn't know that was a thing. They have all these things, they give children this kind of shit. I haven't heard that. That's not surprising, but it's disgusting. It's shocking, but it's not surprising. Gender support plans. Fucking hell. Oh, touche. Jessica says, remember when a binder meant a trapper keeper? Yeah. Remember those things? Jesus Christ. That was a good one. Jess. All right. What a gross fucking cuck this guy is.
We have gender support plans. We have a gender-affirming wardrobe at our school. We have binders on demand for our students and other shapewear can easily be ordered. We have students that express themselves in all manner of different ways. And I couldn't be prouder to work at a school that's so amazing. If you would like to have your school also be an explicitly trans-affirming school, let me know. Maybe we can figure something out.
There's tiny tuck, typical tuck, total tuck, and the tyrannical tuck.
That's disturbing. All right. Well, we talked about sleep and we talked about smashing titties. You all can go and, you can go and look into that if you care. I don't know. We hear a lot of things. I haven't heard about that being offered by a school. Isn't that sounds, well, aside from the child abuse, from the logic and the common sense, how is that not illegal at a school? You have chest bind. Like, I haven't heard that. We have a gender affirming wardrobe at our school. I'm assuming, hey, you can wear whatever you want or whatever. Okay. I mean, I teach at an explicitly trans affirming high school. One, why does it have to be explicit? This isn't like an S&M like bondage expo. It's not like a porn convention. We have gender support plans. What does that mean? We have binders on demand for our students. Hey, you want to smash your tits? You want to be a boy? Here, let's crush your breasts. Okay. And other shapewear can easily be ordered. Shapewear. So if you're a boy and you want to destroy your fucking cock and balls, we can make sure we tyrannically tuck it up your asshole. Yeah, I agree with that, Bao. The fact that he doesn't mention the school's name shows that they were hiding it from the public. If you're proud, wouldn't you say the name? Very sketch, isn't it? It's not what people are saying, it's what they're leaving out. That's a very good point, Bao. Dead on. Absolutely. Chris, remember when kids could learn math and shit at school? I do. I remember. Because I learned math and shit. Yeah, you're dead on with that, Bao, for sure. Maddie, so mom and dad won't let me dress like a girl because I'm a boy, but my school will give me the clothes for it. Oh, hell no. I'm curious where this dude is referring to. Freddie, no shapewear can hold my cock and balls. Too much of a man. Too much manliness. Yeah, that's right. And your rib cage too. Yeah, the chest binders. My taint is too big to tuck. Ooh, super taint. It's Tainty Tuesday after all. Let's see, Loretta, they would do that at home, but I guess they're hiding it from their parents. Again, you need to be involved with your children. You need to be, if they are going to a school, you need to be hands-on. You need to know what they're being taught. You need to have open lines of communication. You need to be involved with your children. There's so many things I can say about this. There's so many topics for a rant coming off of this. I'm not going to get into it now, but I don't know. What do you say to this anymore? I mean, speak up, communicate with your kids. This is not okay. This has no place in school. I don't think anyone disagrees. Obviously some people disagree, but this is a sick, twisted form of pedophilia. Now, of course, you're going to make an argument. Well, no, it's welcoming, it's loving, it's accepting. It's not. It's not. It's child abuse. It's manipulation. It's psychological and physical. It's just perverted. It's absolute perversion. And people are looking for control, for leverage. This is what humans do. They look for control. They look for leverage. They look for a way to manipulate people to get what they want. And unfortunately, when you have children that don't have, when they're in school, you have authority figures, the teachers, the what do you call it? Jesus Christ. The teachers, the counselors, the principal, these are all authority figures in the school. And you're separate from the parents for hours and hours and hours out of the day when they're young. And all this kind of stuff that gets facilitated, that gets reinforced and rewarded. Like, this kind of stuff shouldn't be rewarded. This is some deep psychological fracturing that needs to be addressed from that mindset. This is not the kind of stuff and that's like the danger of that term, affirming. Since when should people's psychological issues be affirmed? Think about that. When does that shit get like you go to let's say you have some sort of trauma. You have some sort of thing. You go to a therapist. What does the therapist do? They don't like, you're not supposed to affirm that shit. Like, oh yeah, you are a unicorn. Oh yeah, you affirm people's delusions. That's, when the fuck do you do that? When is that an appropriate course of action? But of course, if you don't now, in the manipulation, the language, and psychological semantic fuckery, then you're a mean person. You don't understand their lived experience. You are overbearing. It's just a way to separate the children from their parents to, I don't know, so these teachers can get this like psychological ejaculation. They get off on it. And when you don't have control over your own lives and you're mentally insane yourself, what do? You teach other people to be mentally insane. And you're afraid of the real world. Everyone's out to get you. So you create your own little manipulative bubble where you feel in control. I don't know. It's just fucking gross. Sick. Megan, if you can't homeschool, then find a way to be on the PTA or the school board. Elections are coming up. Damn right. Stella, people need to understand school doesn't parent. But they're trying to, right? Yeah, they shouldn't parent. Like, the parents need to. It's an exceptionally uncomfortable and insane overreach. I remember being in high school. I was in high school late 90s. Like, I don't remember. I mean, I'm glad, but none of this. None of it. It was class, and it was class. And the teacher was a teacher, and it was this. And yeah, we didn't have cell phones. Like, cell phones kind of came out like in the late 90s. There were beepers, but kids didn't really have beepers. Some people did. And at that time period, it was like, it became like, what was kind of coming out, like the StarTAC? Like, some people had cell phones, but they were like really rudimentary, and most kids didn't really have a cell phone. Some of the parents did, but it was like not a lot of people. But then when I went to college, I had like, my first cell phone was like a Sony Ericsson little flip. I remember my girlfriend's father had like a StarTAC. And then when I went to college, I had one of the Nokia, like the fundamental ones. But I forget where I was going with that. But that kind of like time period, like you didn't have it wasn't the same social, we didn't have people that were, I don't know. I was just trying to get some association, because we have social media and we had the internet and stuff like that, like instant messenger and shit. But I like, there was none of that kind of weird conversation. Like, it was just non-existent. Like, this is not loving. This is not compassion. This is not care. This is affirming. That's not the goal. It's parenting. It's teaching. It's educating. It's not reinforcing delusions. Yeah, Elizabeth, I may have played mermaids as a kid, but I didn't think I actually was one. Well, now you can be, right? I agree with this as well. Stella says, stupid people always existed. It's just more apparent with social media. Yeah, we've talked about this before. Stella, you're on fire today. Yeah, like a lot of these people and like the weird and the strange shit, like it always kind of existed. Like, there always been people that are off the rails. They just didn't have Twitter. They weren't able to post about it all the time. Like, these kinds of psychos, they weren't able to post on the internet. So yeah, not every single creep on the planet didn't have a voice. Every single creep on the planet, like these are pros and cons, right? But the problem is people are not you have the mainstream media that will shove all this stuff under the rug. They'll ignore it. They'll pretend like it's okay. You have a lot of parents in these fucking super liberal areas that are too scared to speak up against it because they don't want to be outcast or fired, or they're afraid to speak their mind. But it's a very small, I mean, it is like in many places. I'm not saying it's not, but I think on an absolute number, it's a very small number of people overall. Like you talk to anyone on the street, they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? The vast majority of people. Right? Talk to anyone and they're, oh, fuck. But how many people are speaking up? How many people are doing something about it? Everyone's afraid. Most people are a huge pussy and they're not going to say anything. This is insane shit. This is insane stuff. That's why we show these things on the show. That's why we talk about, and that's why this stuff comes up, because it's insane. It's retarded. It's ridiculous. And it deserves to be made fun of, and it deserves to be blasted as far and wide as possible. Like, these people are abusers. They're disgusting individuals. And it's very sad. And the really disgusting thing is that children cannot consent. They don't understand the choices that they're making. They want love and attention. They want approval. They want social acceptance. And there are a lot of weak children that their parents are not maybe around, or they're reinforcing, or they're really soft. They don't have any discipline. They don't have real challenges. They have an easy life, and they see everyone else. They just want to be accepted. And, you know, they're being raised to play the victim and to say whatever they need to say to get accepted and to get attention. And so they're going to do that, and they're more likely, and they're an outcast, and everyone's an outcast. Like in high school or middle school, everyone's an outcast. You know, everyone's finding their identity. Everyone's finding their identity. I remember I went through phases too. I wore skater clothes, right? I wore the Jenkos, and I skateboarded for a year or two. Okay, that didn't stick around. So I tried different clothes and I wore certain things. I didn't like them after a while. Okay, that was old. That I grew out of it. And then you do something else. And then you change, right? And you change your hair, or you try a new style. You're experimenting. This is the same thing. It's the same thing. Imagine the same thing. Like, hey, I was a skater. I had like a chain wallet, right? 90s fucking Jenkos, chain wallet. Okay, what if that was gender? It's like, oh, well, you're going to be this forever. And I surgically change, and I'd have to wear those clothes for the rest of my life. I'd be miserable. It's the same kind of concept. I'd be miserable. I don't like those clothes. I don't want to wear that. I don't want to skateboard. I enjoyed it for a little bit. I actually enjoyed doing that stuff, but it wasn't me. I was just trying something. It's the same thing. I would have to be a skateboarder today. And I just wouldn't be I wouldn't be happy, because I wouldn't really truly enjoy skateboarding. But I'd be forced to, because I made changes when I was 12 or 13 that I can't undo. It's a frightening similarity if you think about it in that way. I know it's a strange comparison, but yeah. I mean, maybe it is a good way to, I mean, because then you're reinforced. Oh, that's way. Oh, no, but you are a skateboarder. No, I really want to feel like, but you're like, I don't know. Because no one was reinforcing, right? No one was reinforcing the fact that I was wearing baggy jeans and skateboarding a little bit. It wasn't being reinforced. I just did it. My parent, they got me a skateboard. I like to skateboard. They got me a skateboard, and I bought a couple, and I just, it was a phase. I tried skateboarding a little bit. It was cool. I mean, I learned how hard it was. When I see people skateboard, I'm like, it's fucking hard. It's a skill. And I would ollie and do a kick flip and stuff. And I just kind of got bored with it after a while. It wasn't like reinforced and affirmed. It wasn't pushed on me. It's the same thing when kids like play an instrument and their parents force them. Like, there's good discipline. There's good things about sometimes, but when your parents force you and they force you to keep on going, and then you want to reject it, you don't want to do it. It's like that, but it's the social acceptance. You're not getting social acceptance from your parents. It's from your peers. It's a different psychological thing. Like, your parents, let's say, it's different when your parents at a certain age, when they tell you something, you might, resist or want to go against it, but it's what your friends are doing. It's what other people at school, it's what other people in your community are doing. Like, children are much more prone to like, oh, what the teacher says and what their friends at school are doing. And it's very much like, And again, we talk about technology replacing God and how, kids aren't going to church and stuff like that. But that's also why when you go to church or when you go to these kinds of environments, it's not just your parents, it's all the other children, the other parents and other families and other people around that you're surrounded with in that community. So when you go to school, like you're just susceptible to what other people are doing in your community, in your tribe, at your school, at your teams and sports teams and clubs and stuff like that. But it's fucking crazy. Just think about something that you went through in high school or middle school. Just think about it. Think about something that you went through that it was a hardcore phase. Think about it. Think about something that was a phase that you went through, that you were all into, and you got some social acceptance, but then you kind of fell out of it. And there was no one like reinforcing it. There was no one pushing you to do it. You weren't getting love and attention. Like you weren't getting showered with acceptance because you were doing it. You just kind of went through phases. That's what this is. Kids go through phases. People go through, right? You heard like the emo phase, or you go through this, and right? It's a lot. Anyway, I think, yeah, Karen, I wore all black and wouldn't talk to my parents. Now, Karen, and this is not to say anything about you, who you are now. It's just a supposed thing. Karen, I'm sure you can see Karen says, I wore all black and wouldn't talk to my parents. Now, imagine when you were that age, like if you were young enough, like imagine you being that age, not talking to your parents, wearing all black. Imagine if you had a community like that at school and this guy was, and you had this kind of affirmation, like you wore all black, you wouldn't talk to your parents. Well, maybe maybe you're not being raised the way you are. Maybe you're really a boy. Maybe like that's why you're different. That's why you stand out. That's why your parents don't understand you. Like, what if you were being bombarded with that shit every day? What if you were being exposed to that when you have, and we all go through that where we have issues with a mother or a father or both parents, or, there's always that growth period. But imagine getting reinforced with this kind of shit when you're at a vulnerable point. You're susceptible to that. Or even if you weren't psychologically then, Karen, imagine other children that are more susceptible to it. It's scary stuff. Just think about all the phases and all the things that you liked for a while, you tried for a while. Oh, I was really obsessed with this for a while, and I really got into this, and I really got into this. You try different hobbies. That's kind of what it is. You're trying different things to see what gets you social acceptance. You don't really know who you are. You're kind of matching what your friends are doing. You talk like your friends. You act like your friends. You go to the same movies. You kind of say jokes and act like to be the in crowd, right? People will act a certain way, or you'll have a bully, or maybe the classic high school thing. Like you have like the jock or the sports teams, and a lot of people, a lot of lackeys around that person trying to be like that person and to be accepted and joke the same way and bully the same way, or blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing. You have all these people that will only accept you. Well, you're not one of us. You're not one of this. And like, oh no, you say like, no, I am trans. I'm this. Like, are you really? Like, it's, oh, you're so brave and you're so awesome. Yay, we're friends. And yay, we're all trans together. Yeah, it's fucking like that shit. It's like that shit. So anyway, frightening stuff, but at the same time makes you more aware and gives you perspective. If you just think about some of these things, maybe it gives you, like, just think about when you were susceptible to doing things based on what your friends were doing. Just think about that and then equate that to today. And just, it's hard to imagine, but try to unwind when you would do things based on what other people, you want them to like you. Remember when someone was mean to you or they passed notes? Just think about it. I know a lot of you are like, what's a note? No, you pass notes or you communicate or you talk shit. Remember how much it hurt when you were like in middle school and you had like a boyfriend or a girlfriend for like 24 hours. And then they were talking behind your back and you felt really broken and really like you'd be all upset or something bad would happen. And it's frightening. You didn't know, like you're learning. It's frightening. Like how the impact of social pressure when you're younger. And if someone talks shit behind your back, it was devastating for that community. Now imagine, like, just think about today. This is what kids are doing to feel accepted. This is what's being reinforced as love and attention, or the friends, or you're being an outcast because people aren't paying attention to you. But then you have like a creepy groomer ass fucking teacher that is talking to you. Hey, is everything okay, Kelly? Like, what's going on? And you know, and then you're like, well, maybe you want to fucking bind your tits. Maybe you want to shove your balls back and pin them back. Like, yeah, I'm just exaggerating for a little bit of lighter humor, but it's disgusting. It's not really funny. But then you have, oh, but the teacher accepts me, and oh, maybe I'm like this. Maybe oh yeah, I am different. Oh, maybe I am blah, blah, blah. Like, that makes a lot of sense. That's why people don't accept me. That's why people don't. It's like, you can mind fuck a child so easily. It's so fucking easy. And kids will act and pretend like other people because they don't know who they are yet. They haven't formed their identity. They're in the process of forming who they are and understanding how to interact with other children. And if children are being manipulated and being reaffirmed and you want to accept it and be one with them or be around them, then you're going to do and say and act like the way the other kids will. It's not complicated. It's literally how that shit works. That's why it's a social contagion. That's why all of a sudden out of nowhere, there's like a fucking how many 1,000% increase of trans. Like it's blatant, obvious. Oh, they were always there. It's bullshit. Not a fucking chance. Not a fucking chance. Not a chance, fam. Not a chance. And the problem is parents are desperate for attention. Parents are getting love and attention. Parents are getting reinforcement. Parents are starting to post things of their children, right? The sickest shit that I ever see online is when we do these videos and you see hashtag trans mom or shit like that. It's fucking gross. You're literally exploiting your child for your own ego. It's gross. It's gnarly shit. And that's what's happening. You have everyone that's just desperate to get front page or go viral or get, that parent is trying to get love and acceptance from other parents, from other people. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, love bombing. It's legit. It's legit. Daisy says, sounds like a cult with the love bombing. Yep, exactly. Grizzly, parents want to be their kids' friends rather than a parent. Yep. They're afraid of parenting, and I think it's also the community around them. You know, if the child is around other kids and their parents don't fucking care and your parents are trying to parent, like you're a parent and you're trying to, you know, with your child, but then the other kids and like they see what their parents like, oh yeah, fuck my parents. The community is so important, like whom you surround yourself with. And, you know, it's like, shit, we have kids. Like, I want to move to the fucking mountains, get my child as far away from fucking people as possible. But this is why a strong community of people that aren't mentally insane is really important. This is why we're talking about church and things like that. And, you know, I didn't grow up religious like that. I never went to church growing up. I went to a private school for a year or two and was exposed. Like there was like chapel, like it was once a week or something like that, certain days. And, you know, it wasn't like the rest of the school, the rest of everything wasn't like hardcore, but I remember it. Like I just remember these kinds of, and, you know, I didn't think too much about it until more recently, but it's almost like, it's not really about the religion itself. It's about the community and it's about the morality. So I'm starting to, I'm actually, cause like, you know, I haven't had kids yet, but I'm starting to think about it. It's like, that's almost what I would want to do, is how I'd want to raise my child, because it's not so much like believing everything in the Bible, for example, you know, verse from verse and whatever, but it's the fundamental morality that is missing, and the community of people with that morality. And that's like the thing that's like, I'm really thinking about all the time. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what's missing. Like, it's exactly what's missing. It's the morals and it's the community with those morals and what you see. Cause like, you know, your community and whom you surround yourself with, we always talk about community and environment. It's like, that's going to reflect on you and that's going to reinforce your thoughts. And that's why a lot of people can't get out of drug addictions. That's why a lot of people can't get out of drug addictions. Why a lot of people can't break those poor nutrition habits or other lifestyle habits, because of their community of who they surround themselves with. And if you surround yourself with a lot of people, whether it's teachers, friends, media, and things that are all fucking pounding the same fucking thing, and a minority of people that have the loudest voices that are manipulating and reaching out and trying to suck out your child's soul, like they're going to succumb to it. And it's very humbling when you get to like your parents' age and you look back and think, oh shit, the stuff that they were teaching me and the stuff that I fucking hated, I'm really appreciative that I was exposed to that or that I was taught that when I was younger. I hated it then, but then you grow up and like, oh, I get it. And sometimes it takes a while, but then I think it really happens when you become your parents' age when you were younger. Like if you had any kind of like trauma or like stressful issues or situations, when you get to be that age and you think like, oh, this is the age that my parent, and then you think about that situation where you were really upset and you hated them or this happened. And then you're like, oh, I fucking get it. Oh yeah. And then you're going to do it to your kid and they're going to fucking, it's like a cycle, but you start to appreciate like, oh, now I see, now I get it. Like you didn't know what a job was and scheduling and you just wanted to go to your friend's house and someone, didn't drive you and there's like, oh, this fucking sucks. Like, oh yeah. Like responsibilities. Oh yeah. But it's all about communication and everything's different. I think that's the other thing too, is that you can't choose what comes out of your body. You can't choose your child. You can't choose your parents and your parents can't choose their child, but you can just do the best you can. But this just kind of shit sets me off. I know we went super long, but we like long. We like depth. We're balls deep. So what else do you expect? Brenda, why do we indulge every whim instead of letting them experiment and suffer the consequences? Yeah. You're just a parent. Like it's good to fall and hurt yourself and experience what happens when you win and lose. That's why participation trophies, like it's all across, right? This is just one aspect of it. The chest binding and stuff, this is the most sickest shit of all this stuff. But from the participation trophies and, not keeping score when you have a soccer game, oh, they're just playing. It's like, you got to teach kids winning and losing from the start. You're not always going to do things perfectly, but you can, you're going to fail, but then you can come back and practice again and do better. Like you have to teach those things. You have to teach the failures and that failures can lead to success and that you should try something different and practice more. You have to prepare kids for the world, and the world's a savage place. And if you're teaching them that, oh, everything's going to be padded and comforted and you're always going to feel valuable and everyone's always going to be nice to you and nothing bad's ever going to happen to you, fuck, they are going to be a whiny, cranky, like, how come you're not being nice to me? You're being mean to me. Words are violence. Oh my God, I'm going to pierce my nose and paint my fucking hair. How dare you? You don't understand my lived experience. You're wrong. No, you're using those words. You need to use better words because those hurt my feelings. And then you get what you get today. All right. Let's give away today's Swole. Let's give away today's Swole card. Sheesh. Good old thing to man. That went deep. We felt good. The early cast usually goes a little bit longer because we start earlier. And the earlier that we start, the deeper that we can go, just because now you're all awake. Hashtag most people don't. Yeah, most people don't. Actually, most people don't. Most people don't groom their kids, which is great. Hey, golf clap. Very nice. Very nice.
It is not my place as a smaller bodied white man to comment on it.
Most people don't. More people shouldn't. Most people don't. Hashtag most people don't. Let's give away today's Swole card. All righty. Then here we go. Falcon, take us away. There we go. What a interesting man cast today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like the length. That's what she said. Hope you like the depths. Bow, congratulations. Oh, you were on point today too. Congratulations, brother. Good to see you on the live stream. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com, swolecard2524 in the subject, your mailing address in the body of the email. Fan-fucking-tastic. I know we went long, my goodness. Just a surprise deep cast. A surprise deep cast. So deep. So deep.
Great Scott!
That's your 9th card? Well, that's your last card then. You've won a lot of... Well, you've been listening for a long time. My goodness. Well, congratulations. The Swole card gods have favored you. Yeah, the more you show up, the more you comment, the more chances you have to schwinn. It is what it is.
And my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible,
thanks for being here, Beaches. I hope you enjoyed the show. I know it was long. I know it was deep.
No medication except my fucking antidepressants.
Some people just tend to pull in a lot of fucking cards. They're just in the right place at the right time, or they comment. I don't know. How about some rusty spoons? I got you, fam.
I like to caress rusty spoons.
I like jamming. I like talking. I like the long show. I like it when we got some good stuff to talk about. Sometimes things just hit it in that way. It needs to be fleshed out. Loud noises. I hear you.
Loud noises!
Oh, churchies. You pooped the bed, you nasty beast.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I see you, fam. Thank you, Bao. I appreciate it. Best episode in a while, and not just because I won. Thank you, Papa. You sure? A little bit because you won. But I hear you. It was a great episode. It was fun. It was fun.
Yikes. Never mind.
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
I will rain down a godly fucking firestorm upon you. Are there any women here today?
Thank you, Rachel. Coast to coast. Very nice. All right. Looking beautiful, Papa. Why, thank you over there on the Twitch. I appreciate it.
Because.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me reel in this hog. Fam, join us. Hold on a sec. 2 hands. Jesus Christ. One hand's getting a little bit, hand just cramps when I'm reeling up that hog. Join us. SwoleNormousX.com. Join the fam today, and we talk about all this stuff and so much more in our Telegram chats. And we have a roundtable coming up on Thursday. So day after tomorrow, 25-26, will be private for members. We talked about it earlier. Roundtable 40, which is going to be fucking awesome. So Roundtable 40, see you all then. And we have a lot of new announcements and releases yesterday. Check out the new merch drops over at papaswolio.com. We have the brand new Swolvada Cadavra, and so many links down in the show notes below for Papa Swolio apparel. Use code DailySwole for 10% off over at papaswolio.com. But also, if you want to submit a call, we didn't do calls today. We had a lot of live conversations. We had a lot of people in the live chat. Go to askpapaswolio.com and call into the show. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow for 25. It's going to be fire. Peace, McGeese, Deuce, Magoose. Yeah, boy, Papa Swolio. Out.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I gift rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now the king left and they so mad, it's like
then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, chill. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant, on topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons out closets and making new deposits. I'm in